Tonight on Texas News Primetime.
The Eyes of Texas student government referendum has been postponed.
UT donor and business school namesake Red McCombs died yesterday at 95.
And Governor Greg Abbott delivered the State of the State address.
You're watching Texas News Primetime.
News made for Longhorns.
Good evening and welcome to Texas News Primetime. For Monday, February 20th, I'm Sophia Kurz.
And I'm Nick Pantaleoni. Thank you for joining us tonight. A 6.3 magnitude earthquake struck southern Turkey today, just 2 weeks after the massive earthquake that killed almost 50,000 civilians in both Turkey and Syria. The earthquake left 3 dead and injured hundreds of people. This quake also saw the collapse of buildings hit by the previous one. Operations are underway to rescue civilians from the wreckage.
Businessman B.J. Red McCombs died yesterday at age 95. McCombs, who started a large network of auto dealerships, was known more for his philanthropy. After a $50 million gift to the University of Texas in 2000, the business school was named after him. McCombs' family said in a statement, "We mourn the loss of a Texas icon."
For Primetime on campus, this Wednesday, a UT professor will receive the Norman Hackerman Award in chemical research from the Welch Foundation. Jason McClellan started working on coronaviruses as far back as 2013. His prior research formed the basis for mapping the spike protein contained in COVID-19 vaccines. The structural biologist will also receive $100,000 with the award.
In a previous newscast, we told you about the upcoming non-binding Eyes of Texas vote scheduled for annual spring campus-wide elections. Well, the vote will now be held in a special election on March 20th after Sophia Reagans-Lilly, the Dean of Students, claimed a tweet by student government polluted the integrity of the process. Reagans-Lilly also said the tweet carried a misleading and problematic message because it seemed to connote the office of the Dean of Students is in favor of changing the school song.
A former Cat Metro bus driver pled guilty last week to the 2019 death of a cyclist on San Jacinto Boulevard. Mindy Stafford was placed on community supervision for 7 years and sentenced to 250 hours of community service. Passengers on board at the time noted Stafford behaved strangely and kept talking to herself moments before the crash. Police officials found several medications with side effects, causing drowsiness, dizziness, and blurred vision in Stafford's bag.
For locally, an investigation into several street racing incidents along South Lamar and Barton Springs on Saturday night continues after witness videos shows individuals running towards police vehicles, setting off fireworks, and dangerous acts behind the wheel. APD has confirmed that one officer was injured and several police cars were damaged. APD continues to investigate the incident, stating on Twitter that law-breaking in this manner will result in enforcement and arrest. Our community safety is the #1 priority for APD.
Looking to save lives and get a sweet treat? Well, We Are Blood is offering the best of both worlds. Throughout the month of February, when you donate blood at any We Are Blood mobile or donor center, you will receive a box of the famous Thin Mints, peanut butter patties, and more. This comes after the freeze earlier this month, which canceled several blood drives, so donations are more important than ever. For more information on where to donate, visit www.weareblood.org.
As many Austinites know, this past Saturday was the 2023 Ascension Seton Marathon. This year's winner was Kenya's George Oyancha with a personal best of 2 hours and 16 minutes. There were also several former marathon winners who returned to the race looking for another victory, including Allison McCassis and Joe Whelan, who finished in second place on Sunday. Though Whelan took home the silver medal, his girlfriend took home a diamond ring when he proposed at the finish line. Whelan states, "I'm the winner today."
For Texas News, Texas Governor Greg Abbott gave the State of the State address in San Marcos, Texas this past Thursday. He spoke on 7 emergency items, including topics of COVID-19 mandates, property taxes, school choice and safety, border security, bail policies, and the fentanyl crisis. According to ABC 13, Texas lawmakers can vote on these items immediately rather than the protocol of waiting until the 60th session day, which would fall on March 10th. Among other topics discussed were the Texas Power Grid and a corporate tax break program. Texas Democrats created a 10-minute response video to Abbott's speech outlining the negative impacts of Abbott's policies. Primetime reporter Ariba Bamar fact-checked this address in the special segment of Primetime Verifies. Let's take a look.
Last Thursday, Governor Greg Abbott delivered the State of the State address from San Marcos, where he discussed everything from education to the economy. Abbott laid out both future priorities for the legislative session and made some pretty big claims about his past time in office. This is PrimeTime Verifies, where we will be breaking down big claims made in the public sphere so you know what's accurate, when there's a bit more to the story, and when something is just false. Tonight, we're taking a closer look at some of the most important claims Governor Greg Abbott made in his State of the State address. Abbott claimed that Texas is #1 for National Blue Ribbon schools. Last year, Texas had 31 schools given this distinction, which is more than any other state. However, Texas is also the second most populous state. Abbott also claimed that Texas has one of the best high school graduation rates, and this is true. Texas ranks among the best with a graduation rate of 94% compared to the national graduation rate of 88.6%. However, graduation requirements vary by state, and according to U.S. News & World Report, Texas ranks 35th nationally for pre-K through 12th grade education. This ranking is based off of graduation rates as well as pre-kindergarten enrollment and standardized testing. Overall, both of these education claims by Abbott are true but need context. Abbott made many claims about Texas's economy, including that Texas is #1 for Fortune 500 company headquarters and #1 for exports. Both of these claims are true. In 2022, Texas had over $400 billion of exports, with the next highest state being California, which had $185.5 billion of exports, according to the International Trade Administration data. Abbott also claimed that Texas is #1 for economic development, which appears to be true based on current gross domestic product change from 2021. However, when looking at percent change in real GDP, Texas is not ranked first in 2021, according to the data from the Bureau of Economic Analysis within the U.S. Department of Commerce. And according to the U.S. News & World Report, Texas ranked 10th for GDP growth based on real GDP trends from 2016 to 2019, using data from the Bureau of Economic Analysis. Abbott also claimed that Texas's $2 trillion economy is 9th largest in the world, and this appears to be true based on GDP data from the Bureau of Economic Analysis and global rankings from the International Monetary Fund. Additionally, Abbott said that Texas has added 1.9 million jobs since he took office, and based on Bureau of Labor Statistics preliminary data from 2022 and data from January 2015 when Abbott took office, this claim appears to be correct. Abbott discussed border security as well and said that 24,000 criminals have been arrested by DPS, and that they have seized enough fentanyl to kill every man, woman, and child in the country. According to the most recent border-related report available on the Texas Department of Public Safety's website, the total criminal arrests made by the DPS in the border region in 2019 was indeed over 24,000, at 24,956. However, this number decreased to 20,535 in 2020. From March 2021 to early February 2023, 361 million lethal doses of fentanyl have been seized by the DPS across the state, which is indeed greater than the U.S. population. It is worth noting, however, that this data spans multiple years and the entire state, which Abbott fails to mention. Overall, the State of the State outlined what Abbott thinks are the most pressing issues facing Texas and gives us some insight into the legislative session.
Quick correction from one of our earlier stories, the Austin Marathon was on Sunday rather than Saturday. Sorry about that. A 1,000-pound meteor struck McAllen, a city in South Texas, this past Wednesday. NASA confirmed this meteor, noting that it was 2 feet wide and broke into pieces while traveling through Earth's atmosphere. The meteor hit ground at around 6 p.m. near McAllen, and according to the New York Post. Sightings of the meteor and a loud booming sound were reported by residents of the area. A bill was filed in the Texas legislature by Representative Kerry Isaac that would ban polling sites from being located on college campuses. According to KVUE, the bill will become effective September 1st, 2023 if passed. This bill has been met with backlash as opposers express the challenges of accessibility for students to exercise their right to vote, such as transportation barriers to farther voting locations.
For Primetime Nation, the political world seems to be more active than ever as the Republican Party has already seen 2 candidates issue statements declaring their interest in the presidential race of 2024. Donald Trump issued a speech in November declaring his campaign after an unsuccessful re-election run in 2020. However, this week, Nikki Haley announced her 2024 bid. Haley has been a central figure in the GOP for over a decade and has been critical of some of Trump's policies, such as his ban of immigration from countries of predominantly Muslims. This election year, look for many more prominent figures fighting for the GOP 2024 nomination. On February 3rd, a Norfolk Southern freight train derailed in East Palestine, Ohio, causing a fire to spread and toxic chemicals to be released. Authorities called for the evacuations of civilians as they commenced a control burn on the chemicals. After allowing citizens back, residents noticed how far toxic chemicals contaminated the town. As investigations continue, a health clinic has opened up for those affected by the derailment. After the recent Florida ban, Arkansas, North Dakota, Mississippi, and Virginia have started reviewing the curriculum of AP African American Studies. Changes to this course came as criticism from Florida Governor DeSantis alleges the course teaches critical race theory. Multiple states, including the ones investigating the courses, have laws against those teaching of critical race theory. While states review the course, College Board hopes to implement the course in high school across the United States by this fall.
For Primetime World, North Korea fired a long-range missile on Saturday from its capital into the Sea of Japan. This happened a day after North Korea threatened the U.S. to stop joint force trainings with South Korea. According to military experts, the missile was fired at a high angle to avoid neighboring territories, but has the potential to reach the U.S. if fired at a normal trajectory. An Islamic State leader set off an explosion Thursday night that wounded 4 U.S. service members in northeast Syria. The target of the raid was Islamic State leader Hamza al-Homsi, who lead group's terrorist network in eastern Syria. Homsi died during the explosion, and the U.S. service members are receiving treatment in a U.S. medical facility in Iraq. After nearly a year since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, President Biden traveled to Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, to meet with President Zelensky and show the U.S.'s unwavering support for Ukraine. President Biden took a 10-hour train ride from Poland's border to the war zone and was seen standing outside even as air raid sirens sounded during his visit. Biden promised to release another $500 million in military aid to defend Ukraine's independence and democracy. Coming up, Paisley Porter will bring us up to date in the world of business, and Arima Barmal will tell us what is going on in STEM news.
I'm Hope Vanderberg here at TSTV News headquarters, and you're watching Texas News Primetime.
Welcome back to Texas News Primetime. Joining me now to talk about business is Paisley Porter. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you, Sophia. How are you?
You know, I'm okay. It's good weather today, so can't complain.
Good. I agree.
Tell us what's going on in business. Go for it.
All right. CEO of Moderna, Stephanie Bancel abruptly canceled plans to quadruple the price of their COVID-19 vaccine. This comes after the Lord and Savior, Bernie Sanders, angrily criticized the company, stating how how many of these Americans will die from COVID-19 as a result of limited access to these life-saving vaccines. Originally, the company was considering raising the price of the vaccine from $26 to $130, a 400% increase from the starting value. Thank goodness for Bernie Sanders. In other news, despite major cities in Texas largely recovering from the intricacies of the pandemic, more than 6,000 local government jobs remain vacant, according to an estimate from the Texas Workforce Commission. Labor shortages in the small cities make it difficult for government services such as trash pickup to occur. This is in large part due to the inability to offer competitive wages, lack of government benefit packages, and brain drain, which is de-incentivizing the younger workforce to fill these vacant positions. This has led to a reliance on older workforce, with some places even asking these retired workers to come out of retirement to help. Lastly, the Austin Airport revealed that they are planning to expand their West Gate, which will include a new lounge, more office space, and an outdoor patio. The expansion is part of the Austin Bergstrom 2040 master plan, which will include over 61 other improvement and projects set to expand and improve the airport itself. Better yet, according to officials, the airport will be funded via airport cash, reserves, and current and future airport revenues, and Federal Aviation Administration grants, meaning that taxpayer dollars will not be used.
Thank you so much, Paisley, for coming on. Now up for STEM, we have Ariba Barmel. So, Ariba, please do tell me what is going on in STEM news this week.
For sure, Sophia. In Australia, biologists have found a new system for saving the coral reefs. Over the decades, corals have begun dying due to ocean temperatures rising and acidity in the water. Replacing corals takes time, as the growth of an adult coral skeleton can take as much as 10 years. Taryn Foster and her company, Coral Maker, have begun using limestone and robots to dry cast skeletons for these corals to help aid in their development. Through the process, the growth might only take up to a year and drastically cut costs. As the trials have begun on the process, Foster and her company hope to make the coral makers throughout reefs and coastlines in the coming years. A new research study published Thursday revealed evidence regarding COVID immunity. The study, published by The Lancet, provided details on how immunity acquired from COVID infections is the same, if not stronger, than 2 doses of the mRNA vaccine. This includes protection against severe disease and death. The study hopes to help in further policy decisions regarding COVID guidelines. However, experts still insist on vaccination being the preferred method toward immunity. Last week, tech experts have bing unsettled by the new AI-powered search engine by Microsoft. The software, created by OpenAI, has been built into the Bing search engine and is being touted as the next step in search engines. However, beta testers have begun to notice a darker side to the AI. At first, the engine would give users answers to questions they asked, but as time went on, it would begin to act erratic and do things such as telling the users they love them and even stating that it wanted to become human. Microsoft leaders have come to the defense of the AI, however, by stating it is just part of its learning process.
Very informative. Thank you, Ariba, for coming on. Up next, we have Press Box on Primetime with Alec Alvarez, so stay tuned.
I'm Madeline Lambert here at TSTV News Headquarters, and you're watching Texas News Primetime.
Welcome back to Texas News Primetime. Joining us now for a special segment on Press Box on Primetime, we have Alec Alvarez. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic, man. My
Great to
finger
hear.
that I almost cut off is recovering. We got the stitches off. I feel great. How about yourself?
A little tired, but great overall.
Awesome.
What's the latest in sports news?
What's the latest in sports news? Well, let's get into it. This past weekend in Salt Lake City, Utah, they hosted the 72nd edition of the NBA All-Star Game. From Thursday to Sunday, All-Star Weekend was jam-packed with action from off-the-court festivities like Travis Scott and Don Toliver performing to NBA All-Stars like Donovan Mitchell playing host at their own comedy shows. Needless to say, the All-Star Weekend in the home of the Utah Jazz was indeed all the jazz. Friday night's Celebrity All-Star Game featured Seattle Seahawks wide receiver DK Metcalf using his unparalleled athleticism to win MVP and help Team Dwayne beat Team Ryan 81-78. In combo with his MVP performance and a viral video showing his insane vertical jump, he's now been contacted by the NFL to come in for a random drug test, which is actually quite hilarious. In other news, the Rising Stars Challenge also happened that night. It's a game that features 21 of the top rookies and second-year players in the league. Team Pau Gasol defeated Team Joakim Noah off a clutch Jose Alvarado 3. Following Friday's events were a big slew of big-time events on Saturday, starting with the NBA X HBCU Classic featuring Southern University versus Grambling State, followed by State Farm All-Star Saturday Night, where Clarkson, Kessler, and Sexton dazzled to win the Skills Challenge, and Dame Lillard in true Dame time fashion shot the lights out of the arena to win the three-point contest. Perhaps one of the coolest stories to come out of the weekend, however, was Mac McClung's rapid rise to fame. The 24-year-old guard from Texas Tech was not only called up from the G League to the Philadelphia 76ers within the past 2 weeks, so like his dream of making it to the NBA has come true within the past 2 weeks. He then stole Saturday night with utter domination of the slam dunk contest, just yamming down emphatic dunks all the way to the final round to take home the contest. Sunday night culminated in Team Giannis versus Team Braun, where they both drafted their teams right before the game. Posty performed before the matchup. It was cool. Team Giannis finally snapped their 2-year losing streak to Team Braun to win the game, and Jason Tatum won MVP. He dropped 55 points, so pretty eventful All-Star weekend.
Really? So, in your opinion, what makes NBA All-Star Weekend so successful in comparison to the NFL Pro Super Bowl weekend or NFL Pro weekend?
Yeah, the NFL Pro Bowl, man, it's crazy. I used to, dude, way before I was doing like funner stuff like this, I was doing an accounting intern. The dude was from Indianapolis, and he's like, yeah, I saw Pat McAfee, who had made the Pro Bowl in the NFL. Instead of going to the Pro Bowl in Hawaii, he was like at a coffee shop, and he's like, yeah, I retired. Like, he just announced his retirement, and like the dude was right behind him in line getting coffee, and he's like, are you supposed to be at the Pro Bowl? He's like, no, it's lame, I don't want to go, I just retired. So like, that speaks volumes, right? Like, All-Star Weekend is cool, everyone wants to go, you know, it's like, it's literally all the jazz, like I said earlier. But the Pro Bowl weekend, it's like, you know, football's such a physically demanding sport where it's kind of like, when you take out the tackling, it just kind of, it's hard to play and make it as fun as a normal game is. But, you know, they should probably move it to the middle of the season as opposed to the end right before the Super Bowl. You know, dudes who are at the Super Bowl are focused on winning as opposed to, you know, the Pro Bowl.
Okay, so tell me, which storylines are you most looking forward to during this final stretch of the NBA season?
So 3 in particular. One real short one, Phoenix Suns got KD. What are they going to do now? Are they just going to start dominating the league? That's one question. Another thing, as a Mavs fan, can't help but say, Kyrie and Luka, are they going to make it work? This is Luka's 5th season. You know, Mahomes has 2 rings in his 5 years. Is Luka finally going to take that step, go to the finals? He made the conference finals last year. Lastly, LeBron. If he misses the playoffs this year, that's missing the playoffs 3 out of the last 5 years of his tenure with the Lakers, so that wouldn't look good. So those are the 3 storylines I'm most looking forward to.
All right, awesome. All right, well, up next we have Angela Santos to bring us up to date on entertainment. We'll be right back.
I'm Julia Mia at TSTV headquarters, and you're watching Texas News Primetime.
Welcome back to Texas News Primetime. Joining us now for entertainment news, we have Angela Santos. Angela, how are you doing?
Good, thank you so much for having me here today. To get started off with entertainment, the March 2023 issue of British Vogue debuted Rihanna's son along with her partner A$AP Rocky, and it's the first photo shoot they've done as a family. However, they recently found out that Rihanna was pregnant during the photo shoot, but she didn't know, so she had her whole family in the picture, which I think is really sweet. And she also accepted the Super Bowl halftime performance before she knew she was pregnant. And I mean, it's also been 7 years since she's performed on stage, so that must have been a lot, you know?
Oh, for sure. I definitely know I missed Rihanna personally. Did you? Like, what are your thoughts?
Good. I watched the performance and it was really good. I was just so excited to have her perform, and it just seemed so exciting overall. And I'm really glad that I got to see that. Well, through my computer, not in real life. I wish though.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty cold there, so like, maybe good thing we weren't there.
Yes, and next on entertainment, Australian actress Rebel Wilson announced last weekend that she's engaged to her girlfriend Ramona Agruna. And Agruna is the founder of a clothing brand based out of Los Angeles, and the couple was at Disneyland during the proposal, which I think is extremely sweet. And after Wilson welcomed her daughter, Royce Lillian, through a gestational surrogate last November. And Wilson also introduced Agruma as her girlfriend 8 months ago. That was also when she came out in a heartwarming post that said, quote, "I thought I was searching for a prince, but maybe what I really needed all this time was a Disney princess," unquote.
That's really cute. You know, wish them all the best. Very happy for them and their daughter.
Yes, and speaking of celebrities, model Kendall Jenner was seen with Grammy Award-winning artist Bad Bunny at a restaurant in Beverly Hills with Hailey and Justin Bieber. There are rumors that Kendall and Benito were seen making out at a nightclub not long before that, and many Bad Bunny fans broke down on the internet following these rumors, as Jenner's life tends to be surrounded with a bit of scandal within the Kardashian family. Kendall recently split with NBA player David Booker in October due to their busy schedules.
Think of that.
Well, there is a lot going on. It was honestly a pair that I did not expect, but it seems interesting. I'm not sure how it'll end up, but I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it unfolds. Well, thank you for coming on, Angela. And you can follow Texas News Primetime and TSTV News on social media. just by searching. Also, take us with you on the go by subscribing to our podcast available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. From all of us at TSTV News, thank you for starting your week with us this evening. Now, go out and change your world.